If you want to continue to support physical media, these are the games that make limited run quantities of fantastic games that I highly recommend you look at. Let's start with limited run games. They have the widest selection of limited print titles, and they're probably the one that you already most know of. But did you know that if you're located in the UK, they actually publish through Clear River Games, so you can get many of the titles that way through release. And if you're in Japan or want a Japanese copy, you can get the Super Deluxe line of games, which have some fantastic special editions as well. So there's many different ways you can buy the games from limited run games. I think they have a ton of good options. They have improved a lot in terms of their delivery times in the last year. I know people had a lot of complaints that they were waiting absolutely forever. If you do order an edition that has a lot of special bits and pieces, yes, you can have to wait a long time. But the benefits of them are that they have open production runs. So as long as you get that order in before the order period closes, you will get a copy of the game. It's not going to sell out. So really you just have to keep an eye on what they have. And like I say, if you're in the UK, check out Clear River Games, because a lot of the titles you can buy through them through Amazon and other places without having to wait, and with them being in stock and ready to ship when you want to actually buy them. Next, we have Strictly Limited Games. One of the good things about them is they have a huge selection of shoot 'em ups, including Drainus, which is one of the best shoot 'em ups I have ever played. They have all of the Cotton games as well and have made good editions of those, and they have a few other boutique titles. They do tend to be a little on the longer times in terms of wait times, but they have recently ramped up their production, and a lot of the Switch games that were sort of stuck being unfulfilled have finally started to come out, so I do have a lot more confidence in them again. And they've got some great little indie titles that they've added recently, so I do want to continue to support them in the future. And their games are also sold through other retailers and tend to be in stock for a little bit longer, so they're not quite as much scarcity as some of the other ones on this list. Next, let's talk about Red Art Games. They've probably got some of the more weirder niche titles that I've ever seen absolutely anywhere. The games are on pre-order, but they're also usually on stock on their website for quite a long time. So again, not one where you have to immediately rush to buy the games the second they're announced. They do have some lovely little special editions that look like Dreamcast cases or SNES game cases, and I've got a few games that I'm really proud to have in my collection from them, so do be sure to check them out. They also have incredible sales where some of the titles are only like £10, so sometimes if it's something that you're not that bothered about, it can pay to wait. Next is Fangamer, a great one if you're in Europe or America where they have different editions of the games. I do find that the ones that get released in Europe and the UK tend to sell out quicker. For example, World of Horror, which I just showed you, did sell out relatively quickly in the UK, but you can still buy it in America. So if you see something cool, check it out. I've also noticed a lot of their games have disappeared from Amazon or kind of come in and out of stock quite sporadically, so it can be best to order directly from them. They also do some absolutely amazing t-shirts, some of the best branded t-shirts I've ever seen, so chuck a t-shirt in with your order as well, because you will not be disappointed by the quality of the t-shirts from them. Then we got Pix and Love. I'd say what's most notable about Pix and Love are their collaborations with SNK. As I've just shown you is the Neo Geo Pocket Collection, which you can only get from them. They have tons of SNK's back catalogue, including many of the games that have had digital releases on Xbox, PlayStation and Switch, have now been given fantastic physical releases through them. And best of all, they have these nice chunky cases that look just like the SNK games used to do back in the day, which is a real fantastic hit of nostalgia. They do have a lot of other things as well, but I think SNK is probably what they're most known for. If you want some weird games, Tesura Games, I absolutely love every single thing they're doing. Everything I buy from them, I get these nice chunky special editions. They did the one for Slay the Princess, which I've got behind me, which is great too. They have a lot of narrative games, a lot of horror games, a lot of games that really make you think and that would never get a physical release from anybody else. One of my favourite independent publishers, for sure. Every few weeks they tell me about another game they've got coming out, and it goes straight on my pre-order list. So check them out. They're probably one of the least well-known ones on this list, so now you've heard of them, you've heard about a real absolute gem. I shouldn't really pick favourites, but I gotta say, Super Rare Games are probably the company I've bought the most from over the years across PlayStation 5 and also Switch as well. What drew me to them were the production times were incredibly short, whereas a lot of the other limited run companies were taking like a year to get games out. They were getting games out in a couple of weeks. Even now they still get them out in a month or two, which is still a lot faster than most, considering they have a pre-order for a set number of quantity, and then there's barely any wait time. But that is an important point because each of the games will only have like 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 copies, and they're very transparent about that in advance. But once it's gone, that is absolutely it. Some of their games will sell out in 24 hours, some will sell out in 1 hour. I have seen it before, so be sure you're on the email list and keep an eye out for what's coming out. They do have a membership you can sign up for, so you can pre-order any of the games 24 hours before anybody else, which reduces the risk of them selling out. Actually, it might even be 48 hours. Either way, it is worth signing up for that if you are loving the titles they put out and you're worried that you're going to miss them, or you live in a time zone where the time that the game comes out to pre-order is when you'd be asleep. It's worth signing up for that. There are a couple of others that I also like, which I've pre-ordered from but not yet received the games for, but I think are notable mentions all the same. The first is eastasiasoft, which is predominantly sold through PlayAsia. A good way to get titles that are a lot more popular in the Asian regions that might not come out in other ones, but they do also mainly do games that have English language options as well, so you'll still be able to play them. And lastly, one that I'm really keeping my eye on and have pre-ordered a couple from but not got yet is Lost in Cult. What I like about them is they combine fantastic booklets with every single game with these sort of fancy prestige editions, and they also produce a lot of great print titles that go specifically into games as well. The one for Immortality is absolutely stunning, and I'm kicking myself every single day that I didn't pre-order that when I could. So keep an eye on them. I'll be sure to show off the games when I do receive them from them. If you know any other companies that do limited print copies of games, put them in the comments below. I'm always looking to hear of more. These are the ones that I absolutely rate. Every single one of these companies will deliver and is good quality. I know a few have kind of took orders and never actually sent the games out. There's no risk of that with any of these companies. They are superb. But let's continue to support physical where we can and for as long as we absolutely can. Thank you.